Good evening, everybody. So tonight we're going to talk about seek and you'll find. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Okay, so we're going to start with this passage from Matthew. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks it will be opened. Which of you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a serpent? If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more your Father, who is in heaven, give good things to those who ask him? So, when we talk about seek and you find, God helps those who help themselves. Those are the basis for the law of work and consequently the law of progress, since progress is the offspring of work. Something that has to be clear right now for us is that there is no progress without work, right? We cannot remain idle thinking that, I'm just going to stay here, I'm not going to do any harm, and because of that, I'm progress, right? So let's keep in mind that without work, there is no progress. So during the infancy of species, human beings use their intelligence only to look for food, protect themselves against the elements, and defend themselves against their enemies. Okay? But God gave humans something more than the animals, the drive to better themselves. It's this powerful desire that leads us to continuously seek ways to improve our condition, leading us to make new discoveries, inventing tools, machines, and advanced science. Those efforts spends human intelligence and moral qualities become more redefined. So in many lectures we hear a lot about that the intellectual progress works together with moral progress, right? Not as fast as moral, but they work together, right? So every time that we see intellectual progress, you're going to see also moral progress. And here it comes. So God put on ourselves the drive for that, to get better, right? To do something better for ourselves, evolve, and that's what drives us to do it. So after attending to their physical needs, humans naturally seek for spiritual nourishment. This is how humanity passes from an undeveloped to a civilized state. But the amount of progress each person makes in a single lifetime is very small. Reincarnation helps us to progress continuously. So if you think about, let's talk about our moral progress now. Let's forget a little bit about the intellectual progress. So how do we evolve morally? How do we progress? Through some kind of work, right? So this work can be something that we choose to do, or it can be something that is imposed on us to do because of some wrongdoing, some deeds that we had in the past. So that can happen both ways, right? But anyway, the final result is the same. We're going to have to do some work. We have to go through some trial in order to progress, in order to evolve. Of course, for us it's clear that we're not going to evolve as fast as we wanted to evolve, right? It's not going to be in a single existence here on Earth that you're going to go from ignorant to illuminated spirits. It's not going to become like that. It's going to take thousands of reincarnations for us to progress that. We're going to go through several different worlds in order to be able to evolve like that. I think the last lecture that I think it was Eduardo, he was talking about the difference between the words, right? So we're going to go through all 5 different words in order to become enlightened spirits. Something that we have to, maybe the point of view that we might have to take is, we'll get there, right? It's going to take time, but we'll get there. So instead of just thinking about, oh, I have to do all this work, I have to go through all those trials, maybe the way to look at it is that I know I'm going to get there some way. And someday I will be there. So maybe if you take that point of view, it's going to be a little bit easier for us to take that lesson. So, seek and you'll find. In other words, work and you will produce. In this way, we are a product of our own efforts. We have merit for what we have done by ourselves. Our reward will be correspondent to our accomplishment. It's because of this principle, spirits don't interfere in work of science research. They don't hand us discoveries or interventions that we are not ready to put in use. So we just talked about that briefly, right? So we're not going to get the work done by their spirits while we do nothing, while we're sitting idle, right? Maybe if we ask and we deserve that blessing, the spirits will be able to help us. We'll be able to stay in tune with them, and we'll be able to understand what they're telling us. And they're going to show us the way. They're not going to walk through for us. We have to walk. But they're going to show us the path. And that is something that it's a big, big help, right? If we already know that we have to do something, and we have somebody guiding us to get that accomplished, that's a very, very good help. And of course, when we talk about merit, we're going to have the merit for everything that we've done. We're not going to get the merit because we are working in a team and the whole team is working really hard. And just because we are part of the team was able to accomplish something good. So, okay, I'm part of it. Even if I didn't do anything, I didn't do much, but we got it, so that's what matters. Unfortunately, that's not the way it is, right? We should understand already that it's through our own efforts that we're going to receive the merit. If no effort was necessary to progress, the most unprepared human being could wait for the spirits to do the work for him, and he would claim for credit. The spirits don't come to spare human beings from the law of work, but they show them the goal they need to reach, and the path that will take there. Right? We just talk about it. So, again, we cannot sit idle. What can we do then? Anything that will do good for our neighbor. We're not talking here about donation, right? We're talking here about work. Any kind of work. Helping your neighbor with something, come here to the center and help with some activity, go to another church and help them with an activity. It doesn't need to be anything related to a religion, right? It can be anything that will be able to help your brother. If you think about it, you're going to help someone, right? But the person that is going to receive help from the enlightened spirits is yourself. So maybe if we stop thinking about how much time we waste doing silly things that don't add anything to our lives, like how much time do we spend on cell phones and Facebook and watching YouTube videos and who knows what more, right? We spend a lot of time with things that sometimes the value that you are getting from that activity, it's not that nice, right? And then because of that, when you have something that has a real value to do, you have no time. Oh, but I don't have time to do it. I'm way too busy, right? And then you start noticing that you have such a little time that even the time that you can spend with your family, you're not doing it anymore because you're busy with something else that it might look important for you. But at the end of the day, if you stop and think about it, how important that was, maybe you're going to change your mind. So, walk and you'll get there. You'll find stones in your path, move them out of the way. God will give you the necessary strength if you care to use it. If you ask for the light, that will show you the way. God will give it to you. If you ask for strength to resist wrongdoings, you will receive it. If you ask the good spirits for help, they'll go with you and guide you. So, how do we ask for help? Right? We can pray. We can, let's say, whatever we're going through our lives, we can just stop, take a deep breath, and do a small prayer, or even ask for help from enlightened spirits, and we're gonna get it, right? Of course, you will get it if you deserve it, or if you're asking for something that you truly need. You're not gonna get help if you say that you wanna win the lottery, right? They're not gonna worry about stuff like that. Or you're not gonna get any help if you ask for your team to win a match or stuff like that. That's not the way it works. You want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say that I like to, when I always tell to the course, that we as God, as children, ask things to us. So when we have a problem, you want God to take this problem away, like a magic. And we can't recognize the help that we receive, because God is not going to take the problem from our lives. It's going to inspire us to find ways of work with that problem, ways to overcome this problem. So we always have to keep this in mind when we are praying and ask for help.
Yep.
Because God will send many ways of help, and most of us, we don't recognize the help. We act like children. We want God to go there and just take the problem. And it's never going to be this way. So some people say, I pray, and God doesn't help me. But He sends many inspiration, many ways for you to fix what you need. But you can't see, because the way you create in your mind of the help is totally, like I said, like a child asks. So we need to remember and to be more open-minded about how God will send us this help.
Yeah. How many times haven't we been through a situation, and at the heat of the moment, something happens to you, and you think it was the worst thing that could happen to you, and then maybe a period of time after that, if you come back to the same situation, say, man, that was a blessing, because if that didn't happen back there, I would be stuck in the future with some different problem, right? So sometimes we have to, as Melissa said, we have to open our minds and understand that if we ask, we're going to get help, right? We have to deserve that help, and we have to know what we are asking for. But we'll always get help.
And it's good that you said about the winning the lottery and those things, because André Luiz, when he was in Nosso Lar, there was a place in Nosso Lar when the good spirits were responsible to come, and when they hear your prayer, they take notes, and they take those notes with what you asked for, and they read the notes, and they decide if you're going to receive the help that if you deserve. And they said that all those asked for the game to win, for lottery, they just throw away. They don't take notes. They don't take to no solar. They just throw away. They don't listen. So don't lose your time to those questions, they don't listen to. And it's true.
Yeah, it's something to think about when you ask it, this kind of stuff in our phrase. So, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroys, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there will heart will be also. This is a very nice passage that we get from Matthew, and what we are talking about. We are talking about how much importance we give to material things in our life, and how little attention we put to our own moral evolvement, our moral progress, right? The other part that we're going to talk here about this passage is that providence never deserts people who put their trust in it. God knows our needs and provides for them. Still, human desires are never totally satisfied, and we don't always know how to be happy with what we have. We demand more and more. When that happens, providence leaves us on our own. We just talk about it, right? So, God knows what we need, right? He will help us. He will give us what we need. Of course, it's hard to get satisfied, right? We think that happiness is something that is directly attached to material things. Oh, I will be so happy if I have a huge house and a very nice car and a boat and whatever, right? We have to understand that this is not true. Usually, you see a lot of histories of people that they become rich from day to night, and their lives become something almost unbearable for them to keep going, right? So they start having so many other issues they never thought about it, that sometimes they just go crazy and they lose everything because they cannot keep up with that, right? So we need to start thinking about what we really need. Do you need a $5 million house for you to live? Is that necessary for you? Of course it's not, right? Sometimes Melissa tells me about it. Oh, let's go and buy something. And I tell her, do we need that?
He always says, well, explain. When I'm going to buy clothes, he says, you really need? Of course, I'm not naked. I don't need the way you. But as a woman, I need. But it's okay. That's another.
It's another topic. It's a good one, right? But if you think about it, but it's something for us to keep in mind, right? Do we really need a brand new $200,000 car?
Do you need 50 pair of shoes? You don't have 50.
Yeah, right. So let's see if we can keep that in mind, and we can stop asking for that in our prayers, right? Let's say if you were gonna pray for something, pray to be helpful at your work. Pray for you to get home safe once you leave your office or whatever, right? Those things, God will help us. If you ask for tons of money, power, stuff like that, that's not what we need. So, whatever town or village you enter, search there for some worthy person and stay at their house until you leave. As you enter the home, give your greeting. If the home deserving, let your peace rest on it. If it's not, let your peace return to you. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to you, leave that home or town and shake the dust out of your feet. Truly I tell you, it will be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of the judgment than for that town. So this passage here is also a good one for Matthew. Jesus was teaching his disciples to put their entire trust in providence again, right? Having nothing, they wouldn't inspire greed in their host, and they could more easily distinguish the self-interest from the truly charitable. For people that didn't welcome them, Jesus didn't tell his disciples to curse them, impose their view on them, or use force and violence to convert them. He simply told his disciples to go away and look for people of goodwill. We already have the understand that what good would be for us to impose our beliefs in somebody else. We're not going to do any good, right? We might just get another person that dislike us if we keep doing stuff like that, right? How can we dare to believe that whatever is the religion that we go through, that we accept, is the one that is the right for everybody else in the world? It's not the way it works, right? So we have to understand that people will be different, right? They'll believe in different things depending on where they were born, the cultural background, the family that they were raised, and it's okay. It doesn't mean that only the people that look for the Spiritist doctrines will be safe. That's not true, right? What we need to evolve morally, we already know that we need to practice the law. Love, we have to be charitable, we have to be humble, and those principles, if you think about it, pretty much all religions, they talk about it. It's not only the Christians' religions. So today, the Spiritist doctrine says the same thing to its followers. Don't violate anyone's conscience. Don't force anyone to leave their faith and accept yours. Don't curse people who don't think as you do. Welcome everyone who wants to join you, and leave people who reject your ideas in peace. Remind yourself of the words of Christ. In the past, heaven was conquered with violence, but today it is gained by mildness of heart. Pretty simple to understand, right? We shouldn't impose our beliefs in anybody. And there is no bad religion. All the religions are good. The problem is the people, right? The human beings. They can be deceiving. They can twist and change the meaning of their beliefs, and they can use that to have some kind of access to power. Who knows, right? But if you think about the religions, most of them, all of them, they're going to be talking about love, charity, humbleness. They're going to only show you the good things, all the good principles that we need to evolve in our life. So let's keep that in mind. If you get into a discussion about religion, maybe that's not the best thing to do, right? We're not going to make a lot of friends with stuff like that. So let's try to not force anyone to our beliefs, right? Anyone to our faith. Something that we can do is, go ahead.
Yeah, and how can we react to someone who keeps on, attacking your faith without you?
That's a great question.
Because there's a lot of criticism.
Of course.
Ignore.
Yeah.
Just ignore. Because remember, what Jesus would say, what Jesus would do, he wouldn't do anything. Because people have the right to think what they want. Like Givaldo said, don't be you the enemy. If you have an enemy, the problem is
The other person.
it's his problem. Because if he doesn't like you, he has a problem, not you. If he doesn't respect your faith, he has a problem, not you. So ignore. Don't waste your how can I say, your health and
Your peace. Don't get into the game.
that doesn't deserve. Because he's not there yet. And let him think what he wants to think.
Yeah. And the deal is, no matter what you tell this person, he's not going to change his point of view.
You can know a lot of the doctrine and explain and convince and even prove, but if the person doesn't want to hear and doesn't want to believe, he's not going to change his mind. So don't waste your time with this person. Just ignore, pray for him.
Yeah, I think the right thing is to avoid conflict, right? And of course, pray for that spirit too, because it's not because it's a bad person doing that. It's an ignorant person. That's the point of view that we need to take, right? It's an ignorant spirit that is going through a evolutionary process, and someday this spirit will understand that whatever he's doing, it's not right. And the other thing is, because of that, that spirit will have to expiate, right?
Sometimes he's not alone. Sometimes he's inspired by other spirits that want to confront, and so.
Yeah, and we have to think about sometimes about a child that doesn't know better and keeps asking questions about it, keeps annoying you. So you're not gonna do any harm to this child, right? He doesn't understand. That children doesn't understand it, right? So I think that would be the how I would behave on a situation like that. And I think that's it for tonight. Thank you very much.